And your mic's on, right?
Well, I need to talk to some people.
They're live.
Hi, everybody. That sound means we're ready to go live for day 2 of UTA Moving Mavs Wheelchair Basketball Camp. So we learned a few lessons from yesterday. We're going to try to slow down some of this to make sure we have a good delivery. Make sure Texas, we got some good messages yesterday on some things we could do different. So looking forward to going into today. So we're going to try to show you this PowerPoint so that it's also in the recording. And as with anything, we always got sponsors we got to recognize because we couldn't do what we do all year or with this camp without sponsors. So to our sponsor, BSN Sports, they came in last year and they did
Presenter
a good
here.
job to get us our stuff all together, time, and help us look good on campus to represent our
It's the point.
So thank you, BSN Sports. And now we move to live section on the PowerPoint and talk about decision making. Okay, so first day 1 review, just kind of went through the logistics of day 1. We talked a lot about utilizing our strength and conditioning program and our speed and agility program to help us be better athletes. Fabian mentioned and Juan mentioned a lot about the mental part of the game, about being ready for things that are happening, and not just being ready for things that are happening, but being able to anticipate based on being a student of the game, being able to anticipate what the other team is going to do. And we talk a lot about that. And so we're going to talk on what I call, and it's really from the military, the OODA loop, OODA. So what this is, we're going to go live here. Okay, so the OODA loop is the first stages of speed. And we talked about anticipating the buzzer in our sprints yesterday. So it's that observe and orient part of, okay, this is where I am, this is what I know we're going to do, and orienting yourself to being ready to react quickly. It's all about reaction time. Speed is about reaction time. Being able to transition quickly in basketball is about reaction time and understanding where you are on the court and where other people are on the court. And a lot of times we think about where we are and what we're doing, and we're not thinking about what other people, where they are and what they're doing, and mostly what they're going to do next. So that's part of the orientation part of observe and orient. You know where you are, but you also know what your teammates are doing, and you know what you think the opponents are doing. And in neurology of communication and the psychology of communication, that's called metacognitive. You're thinking about thinking. So you're thinking about what they're thinking. You're also thinking about what they think you're going to do. So maybe you've attacked with the ball left 3 times in a row, and they're thinking, oh, this guy goes left every time. Now you're thinking what they're thinking, and you know how you can respond to that. So on the PowerPoint, and I think we already showed that, then you've got to decide. So in speed, you got to decide. Are you going to, on the rebound, are you going to go out to the passing lanes? Are you going to go down the floor because you see the offense has collapsed in and you see an opportunity for a fast break? Those are the decisions you're making. And then the last part is the speed part. So I think the first 2 parts of this are observe and orient, then decide and act has to also be a quick loop in that speed. Because sometimes people think, oh, I need to turn, and then they start turning and it's too late. If you see it earlier and you understand it earlier, then you can do it earlier, and that will make you a faster player. So keep that in mind as you practice. Watch film. Like I said, become a student of the game so that you're watching how other people make decisions, and you're practicing assuming a role of a player in a film and the decisions that that player makes. And then you try to guess, okay, what are they going to do next? What is the defense going to do next? How are they going to respond? And why are they going to respond that way? All that not only makes you a better player, but it makes you a faster and a quicker player too. And you don't lose that half a second of processing time before you go into the next action or activity in the game. So we talked a lot about sequential thinking, and we're going to do some drills later to try to develop the sequential thinking and decision-making skills, but also into, if we practice those in our conditioning, then that makes us better players and better thinkers. And to me, that's one of the most important parts of practices and games. Who can decide quicker? Who think quicker? If we can set up an offense where we can move the ball, the defense is going to have to make decisions. And we're going to try to make decisions quicker than they are. And that makes you a better player. Okay. Having said that, Madison, what do we got next? Our drills for today. Madison's going to put up the slide. We're going to do some strength and power drills today. So when we come back in the fall for strength and conditioning, we'll do strength and conditioning Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we'll do speed and agility Tuesday, Thursday. And we talked about yesterday how training for speed is different than training for strength and power. So we're going to show you some of the drills that we're going to be using as we start back in the fall. And the first thing we're going to be using is we're going to go over here to ropes and also a station, we'll do ropes and also a station with the med ball. Okay, here we are, getting our mask in place because this is less than 6 feet, but I want you guys to see this. We have 2 sets of ropes, and actually we're wearing them out. We're going to need some new ropes here pretty soon. So this is a plyometric activity for arms and shoulders and chest and even back. So we're going to go now, Bryce, with a dumbbell, Corey's going to call out, and Bryce is going to go to a side-to-side motion. At a minute, they're going to switch. Corey.
My screen looks good.
Start up and down ropes. He's going to go steady, and then last 15 seconds, Corey will tell him. Body over here, AJ is going to do med ball crunches. And maybe a high level spot. They're not just the same way that AJ is going to do it, just because of different functional capacity. But well, a lower classification how they'll do it too. So core, as much as we can. Okay, so we're gonna start 1 minute on the whistle. What we're gonna try to do. Fast as you can. And go. Fast hands. Keep going, keep going. Keep going. 4 seconds, come on. Bigger and fast. So I like this, it works. Pushing in, and when you push your wheelchair, you're pushing in. Push off the wheelchair push rails. So Bryce is going to come over here where AJ, Corey's going to do ropes. AJ is going to hold.
Okay, you got hold.
He didn't show the sign. Yeah, he got you some.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't.
We will start out. Both these guys are low pointers, so always something to look at when you're setting your expectations for your athletes. We don't like to say, okay, that's a high-level spinal cord injury. We want to say, okay, what can you do? Let's see what you can do, and let's see how we can make it better. Okay, so we'll start out. Bryce will do med balls, and then Corey will be on the ropes, on the whistle. Bryce.
Okay.
Bryce is learning how to go with and stabilize when he's doing things to the side. So you can see how this is going to help you in a game situation. All right, now Corey's over here with the ropes. In 5 seconds, he's going to go to speed. And now he's going to speed. I think these ropes are 12-pound ropes. That gives you an idea. Now he's going side to side. Bryce is still doing the slams. And you can use heavier balls. That's probably a 4K ball. So some of you guys use a bigger ball. We're done. All right. We got one last one. Corey's going to go to med ball. Bryce will go hold AJ. And AJ will do the ropes. So what we'll do in a practice, we'll have everybody will get 5 minutes of rope time, 5 minutes of med ball time, and then your rest time is when holding, which isn't really rest time, but we call it rest time. So this would be 5 minutes, and then we would be rotating other stations. In practice, we'll probably have about 4 different sets of rotations that we're using. If it's a strength day, then it'll all be strength work on top of the weightlifting that they just did in the activity center. So now we're going to AJ, and we got 1 minute, and even the ropes in the core training, where we're just resisting the pull of the ropes. And trying to maintain balance as we're doing our ropes. And now we're going to speed. Let's go. And and sideways. Start moving sideways. 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, so that's a couple rotations we would have going on a strength day. The other thing we do on the strength days is we do cardio work too. So now we're gonna go, next thing we're gonna do is go baseline. Everybody, line up 3 people for the triple partner pull. Another activity we're going to do for, so we're going to do on these on some good rest, but you got 2 people resting as one person's pulling. So our plan, and they're ready for the next one coming back with a different pull. And Maddie. Oh. 3, 2, 1. You notice even in line, there's no mental test. It's like, hey, we got to get back in line as fast as we can because the next person's going to go. Yep. Go. So I think the interesting part on this is watching the difference when they go from their power push, generating speed at the beginning, into their speed push, where their hands are going to make a different motion. So see if you can see the motion between the power push and the transition into the speed push. Go. Go, Bryce. Push, Bryce, push, Bryce. Bryce is doing his power push. Now he's got more of a circle. He's bringing hands around, and that's good hand speed. Go. So it's got to be a quick transition, so they've got to be thinking the whole time. Quick transition. Generating power, we want to learn how to use our front. Use our front as much shoulders as we can. Okay, thanks, guys. Just need 2 on the next one. So now we're going to back up. The full baseline to the 3-point extended on the other end. We're gonna also do these on 15 seconds. We're gonna reset the clock for 3 minutes. So now he's gonna do a speed push. Boy, all the way. All the way down. All the way down. 3 meters. 3 meters. Right here. Let's go. Hand speed. Hand speed. Hand speed. So now I get speed push while he's pulling. Bryce, he's got great hand speed. So now how that influences speed is we want to work on the strength to body weight ratio. So the only way to get faster is technique, which is hand speed, equipment, or the strength to body weight ratio. So the more weight you're pushing, if you're a bigger guy, the stronger you have to be, obviously. We're going to do one more thing with that. You think Bryce had a caster fluttering down there? All right, because the game's full court. We're going to do that drill full court. Now what is going to do full, so we're working. And then so just do a 4th of July. Tower. Now let's go. You said free throw line. Close. Right here, buddy. You said hard. Go. Oh. You ready? You ready? Go. And release. There you go. So in practice, you've got to watch it because this gets competitive like anything else. And what they'll start doing to try to get an advantage is they'll start pushing in front of them. We don't want that push. You're not going to get that in the game most of the time. We want them one more down and back. We just letting go and going into their push from behind. That's that. All right. Thanks, guys. You can tell it's fall. We got work to do. All right. While they're resting a little bit, we'll talk about some things we do that are on that assessment chart that I showed you the link to yesterday. UTA.edu/movingmavs. And it shows you a chart of assessments. So you can compare, you can set up a drill like that and compare sprint times. As far as matching up athletes, sometimes we will intentionally put a small athlete with a big athlete. The big athlete can work hand speed while they're having a little bit of resistance, and the smaller athlete can work more resistance pulling a bigger athlete. Or we'll put two smalls together or two bigs together. You can just play around with that depending on what you want them to work on that day. Just make sure it's intentional and you tell them, we're going to put you with the big. Big can work hand speed. You can work power generation. So different ways you can use that drill. Okay, next thing we want to do, so we do a 7-minute push. Start on the baseline, touch the far baseline, come back. Many times as you can in 7 minutes. This is on the assessment chart. I think we're up to maybe 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 60 in 7 minutes, but start the season, see where you are. Middle of the season, set it up again for an assessment, see where you are, and end of the season. And then you know, is your training program doing what you need to do? Is it developing the skills they need to be a better wheelchair basketball player? And you can compare them to themselves, they can compare to themselves, and that is intrinsically motivating to those athletes who want to get better. They're like, oh, last time I did 46. This time I want to do 48. And you'll see a lot of effort. Okay. And we're going to do one more on partner pull. Mask. And it's just partner pull, stop, starts. We're still getting the whole reminder, whole social distancing thing. Down in little groups and have your chats, keep your space. So just one person. And so stop starts. So we're going to do partner pull, stop starts, just working on generating power. So this would be like 30 seconds, and we want to make sure that they're focusing on how they're using their body and their technique to generate power. So, go. Yep, person in back, keep your arms straight, or you're going to be back arm. All the way down. So this is actually part of a 30-minute drill too. Now they're going to switch, coming back. Right. So Corey, being a newer player, is still working on his balance and stability, and he stops with this drill. So we would probably have 6 each. Now AJ is going to do it just a stop start with a dribble. Corey's going to hold on the back. What? Partner. He's coming. So we're working on generating power with the dribble, with resistance. You see, AJ doesn't have his mask. He has asthma with his asthma. You see, AJ just changed hands, so you want to make sure you're working dominant and non-dominant hands. One of the things we're going to look for on offense or on defense, we're going to look for a player who doesn't use their non-dominant hands very well, either for dribble or for passing. Now, maybe the first time he's ever done this drill. So this is a learning experience for him. And you can see players just coming in, they're going to make mistakes. And we talk a lot about make mistakes. Make them in practice so you're not making them in games. One time down, he's good. All right, and last thing we're going to do is some people call these boats. We'll do this for our cardio conditioning at the end of the strength session. We're not going to do the whole time, but everybody grab on to AJ, mask back on. Now this takes a little bit of time, but they get tired. So usually we would have cones in the corner and we'd have several teams. They'd be trying to pass each other. So, yep, we're good to go. So AJ's going to do a lap forward, and he's going to do a lap back. So you're going to obviously allow a little more time for this. We're also looking for their acceleration, deceleration too. Keep going. Don't call it on me. Right. Now backwards. Now backwards. Right, come on. All the way to the corner. Go around the columns. This was practice. I'd probably start over and say, we're not going to cut corners in the game. We're not going to cut corners in practice. So this. And they have to decelerate and accelerate if you have these visual cues, these cones in the corner. So it's easier if we get this to round the corner now. Where's that cone at here? All the way around the cone, all the way around the cone. And that makes me have to decelerate a little bit to turn. Backward. So we try to focus on these little details about accelerating and decelerating around the turns. Communication on the turns. This year, one of the things we're going to have to focus on is using a max. Making sure we're distancing. Go! Okay. Good cardio tool. Sometimes we'll have a team of 4 or a team of 5. You'll see our guys can work hard and still have a little fun with it. And that's okay. I mean, if you're working hard and having fun, 2 birds with 1 stone. And that's what we all want to do. We want to make the hard one fun. This is the last one. So what we would do, everybody pulls 1 lap, and then does backward 1 lap, and then we go to 2 laps. So then they all go 2 laps forward and 2 laps back. And then we'll go to 3 laps. So you can see it does take some time, but after they've lifted and after they've done some of their strength work in their chairs, then you get some good rest, but you're also doing a good cardio workout. Perfect timing. There we go. So that's some of our strength and conditioning work. Tomorrow we'll be back to speed and agility work, which is going to be a little bit different. So for now, we've got Coach Jason Nelms, head women's coach, multiple national champion as a player and as a coach, USA team, MVP at the World Championships 1 year. So he's got some really good information on offense and defense that he's going to share with you. And we'll send it back to Maddie, and we'll see how we can do on this transition today. You on a PowerPoint? Good.
Throw them to me, Maddie. Do I have any sound? I don't hear myself. Can you guys hear
We
me?
got you. We can hear you. You're good.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be around. Coach Nelms, I couldn't be in the gym today with everybody. I'm actually coming from a hotel, so in case my video goes out, I'll try to log back in super quick and get the video posted. So if anything happens, hopefully they'll play a little video for you guys while I'm down here for a second. But I'm going to go ahead, and if you want to go ahead and start, Madison, and go ahead and share that, that'd be awesome to go ahead and get this started. Cool. So I know we're having some communications go in and out and go down. And why am I being able to pause this? Or play it? Oh, okay, but I don't have any control over it. So she has all my control. All right. Well, I'll try to speed it up for you guys a little bit. I didn't know I would have control. You can just go ahead and let it play. We'll get right into some stuff. You guys saw my name in the beginning and my email address. So if not, go back, click on it. You guys can ask any questions you want. Let's get started and get right into it. So we talk about the teacup. We're going to look at some good things. And Madison, go ahead and pause the video for me if you wouldn't mind. Just want to go ahead and talk about some things before we really get into it, just so you guys can see it. You see I got a little X for, Madison, if you could please pause the video. If you could back it up one.
I cannot pause your video.
I can't pause the video either. I have no control. On that video. Hey guys, coming back in. I think I'm back.
Yep, we can see
I'll go
you.
ahead and set that back up to share with you guys again. Sorry about that. If any questions do arise, like I said, you guys can go ahead and send them on over. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know why I don't have any control over pausing my own video when I share it with you. That is weird. I think we're right back to the beginning though.
So I still need you to share it with me. Hold on.
There you go. That should give it to you. Sorry, guys. How's that? You got it, Madison?
Yes. All right, we are set up and good to go.
So, like, I can move my mouse, but you have to play these things, I think. Oh, no, I got it. Hopefully it'll let me pause it. It wouldn't let me pause it. So anyway, we'll just start all over. Go a little quick for you guys again. There's my information if you guys would like to contact and ask any questions. I know it's kind of really tough right now to get questions through and stuff, and while we're experiencing this. So deal with us a little bit, and if you have some questions, go ahead and send them on over to me in an email. We're going to talk about half-court defense and some of the biggest stuff. The biggest thing to me on our end is the teacup. That's the only thing I'm really going to try to teach to you guys today, and to make sure that you guys have a good understanding about that. The next slide, which popped up a little bit earlier, and we're going to show you that again, is a good and a bad positioning. Right away, you guys will see this a little bit later in the film. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'll be able to pause it as it's going, but just to know right now that this is a little bit of a bad teacup. It looks good, but it's actually bad, and it's bad because they're on two different levels. This, again, is another little bit of example of a teacup, and you guys see how all of our 5 defenders are between the other 5 offensive players and the basket. So right now, this is what most of your teacups will wind up looking like. At first, you start with the wall at the top, but it breaks down into a 2-1-2 type of defense. So you guys will be able to just see just a little bit of that. You'll see it unfold a little bit. And normally you'll have 2 bigs on the end of your teacup that'll help protect your baselines. It's super important to never give up baseline. And as we go further on in the film, you guys are going to see some examples of that as well. Just to see a little play out here and there. So how do we get to our teacup? Well, most of the times we're playing offense and then we have to transition back, right? Well, look at all our 5 players transitioning back. You'll see that all their heads start turning, they start talking. I know you guys can't hear the talk on the film right now, but trust me, it's there, and we're going to back it up and show you to the points where you can see all their heads start moving back and forth. You can see a little bit of communication between Darlene and Rose as well. Right here, you have your 2 bigs that take the end for you, and they make sure that they're secure. Abby's looking back, making sure that Darlene was good, and Rocky was looking back, making sure that Morgan was good. See that little communication between Rose and Darlene right there? Just making sure each one of them are good and they got their positions. When you do get back into the teacup, you're going to see Rose moving right there, back and forth. Her ultimate goal is to make sure no one comes through the middle of this teacup. She doesn't want anyone cutting off Darlene's back or Mo's back. She wants everybody forced to have to go a different way other than the middle of the court. So that's her ultimate role. She's not really worried about the shooter. She's really worried about just making sure that she gets a little bit of wall right there. Now, in the mix of our teacup, we have the most important part of it, and that's the triple switch. Right? This is big on every end of it. You guys are going to see Gonzo here right in the middle, and she does a pretty good job on our teacup. She always kind of turns her chair in towards the basket, doesn't really take a bad angle out, and is always making sure that her hands are on the wheels. And if you really notice, her chair never stops moving. It always has just a little bit of momentum so that she's able to go ahead and take a hard push and get there quicker than a dead stop. I know some of you guys are like, what do you mean a dead stop? Well, if you're just sitting there in your own place right now, pull backwards and take a push forwards. Watch yourself do a little bit of wheelie and not go anywhere, right? So you always want to have that little momentum going forward so you're always able to move forward. Great shot by Zerb. She's a great shooter. We're going to look at Darlene here a little bit in the middle as well. So normally it's not ideal to have your class 1 in the middle just because it could be a speed issue, it could be a height issue, it could be a balance issue. So you see Darlene right there, plays the middle, gets called and comes over and helps. Now, that all looks good on film. It looks like we're doing some really, really good things. She comes over and steals the ball. But what's wrong about this? If I could pause it really quick, which I don't know if it'll let me do. I think it gave me a pause. It let me do it. If you pause it really quick, you're going to see that wide open area right there. Look at that area, right? 54 is already ready to make her move towards the basket. Meanwhile, Darlene's 2 pushes away from her. Really, really hard to get there before she rolls. If she took one more hard push, wide open layup, we don't get a defensive stance point. So you always want to make sure that you're facing the action and you're listening to what's happening behind you, right? See, Abby faces the action, listening to what's happening behind her. Gets back to the action, faces the action, starts listening to her other side. Watch Abby again in the middle. Same little thing. Hopefully it'll play a little bit longer for you guys right here. Same thing. Abby back, forth, side, side. Cuts off. Make sure no one comes high. Make sure no one's comes high. Guards her defender. And as soon as the ball gone, she's back underneath that free throw line. That's a very important thing to pay attention to, too. You want to be closer. If you're above that free throw line, you won't be able to triple switch. You'll be too far away. Even if you're super fast, it's going to be tough. All right? So pay a little attention to that. Now, you guys are going to see Mick in the middle doing some little dirty work. And you're going to notice Mick, like Abby, keeps her chair moving, right? She does not stop that chair from moving. She's about to get into the middle. Now you guys see Mick, and she pays attention to both sides, making sure no one's cutting off the back of either one of her players. You're good, you're good, you're good. She's sitting there. That's pretty much what she's saying. And she makes sure everybody's good to go. No one gets beat through the top. And, yeah, that's Gonzo. Gonzo falls a lot, guys. Yeah, we'll watch it again for you guys just to see Mick. And I think she has a couple more clips just so you guys can go ahead and just watch her chair movement. For the most part, she tries to always turn back towards the basket unless there's a little bit of room to where she has to actually turn out and chase someone a little higher up. Most of the times, though, your chairs are going to be facing towards, you're going to be turning in towards the basket and not out towards the three-point line. Watch, you're going to see Mick doing the same thing again. A little bit of a defensive switch because there's a huge power on the right side. Becca Murray over there, one of the best shooters, and Natalie, awesome USA big player. They're just awesome players, so you're going to have to put a lot of attention to that. So on this play, you'll see Mick cheat a little bit when she has the class 1 in the middle. If it's anyone other than a class 1 in the middle, you're probably not going to be able to cheat as much. They're going to get to that basket super, super quick on you. So you just want to make sure that this is more on your coach's side, and they're telling you exactly how they want you to play this. But for the most part, you're in that middle, and you're making sure no one comes from the back of people, right? You don't want them to get cut off their backs. They can take that push forward, but like we said, really hard if someone goes off your back. This time, another class 1 in the middle. We get little Lizzie over here. Now, this all looks pretty good, and like I said, I can't pause it, but as it's playing, there's one good thing and one bad thing. The good thing is Lizzie doesn't chase over the free throw line. The only bad part is, look at the front of Lizzie's chair. It's pointed right at Darlene Hunter, not over at Natalie Snyder where the action's going. Remember, your eyes go towards the action, your ears go away from the action. So my ears want to listen to Darlene and Abby, who are over here on the left side, but really be paying attention. I want to be watching Rose and watching Belle and see if I need to get over there. So remember, it's a two-part system right there. Eyes one way, ears the other. Always get a little bit of chair moving. And then the other little part about this going into the teacup is you want to make sure that you have some fourth man sag. Now, Rose Hollerman is an awesome shooter, great USA player, and you can see Becca Murray and Christina Schwab are both paying super, super good attention to her. She kicks out over to Abby and she makes a nice shot, but that's not what we're really watching here. What we're watching is Mora. See Mora right here chilling at the elbow? That's what, see how she sags in? That has to be done all the time when you're doing a triple switch, because if you don't sag over a little bit, the middle person will go for a wide open layup. Now, the other little thing to pay attention to is Natalie, who's over there with her. Abby wouldn't get this shot if Natalie would show just a little bit more from the baseline and realize that they're sitting on the class 1. She'd get a nice more of a defensive play, and this play would keep going on a lot further than it just did. We're going to watch a little bit more of this play, and you're going to see the yo-yo. A lot of people are like, well, what is the yo-yo? The yo-yo is basically, imagine yourself playing with the yo-yo, right? You swing it, and it comes back. It always comes back to you. Well, that's kind of the same thing when we're talking about on defense. We don't want our defenders to actually commit to anybody. We want them to pretend they're committing and then come right back, right? So I think you're about to see that right here with Christina Schwab, who shows from the baseline right here. She's going to show like she's going, and Becca's doing the same thing. They really just want the ball out of Rose's hands, and they get it. Rose makes the pass over there. Abby's a really, really good shooter, though, and she puts it in. Had Natalie shown just a little bit more from baseline, they probably take away this play for us. See, those two wanted to come out. Oh, yo, boom, and they're right back to their spots. They never committed. They didn't give anybody a pick on them, and that's what you want to do when you yo-yo. You want to go back and forth, back and forth. You want to use your words really, really loud, too. You just don't want to sit there and put your hand up or just act like you're coming. You want to scream you're coming. You want to scare the offensive player, right? You want to make them want to pass that ball. All right, so we'll see a little bit of all of this put together now. This hopefully should be a really, really cool clip for you guys to see, because there's a lot of action going on here, and see if you can spot it all, right? I won't point it out to you guys because I'm going to do that the next clip. So I'm going to let a lot of this go. Looks like pretty good D so far, huh? And even that shot, Pretty good little shot. She hits that. That's actually very similar to Natalie. So we're going to get back to Belle towards the end of this play over here. But let's watch some of these things. They start off in their awesome little teacup. We even get a jump right away to a triple switch. Rose comes to help. Darlene's able to get back so she can go back. So she did a nice little help over there. And now look at that. Now we go straight into a yo-yo. Awesome job. They don't let anybody through. Do a really good job of playing their defenders, their offensive players, and I got to swing it over. It's a good look by Mora. It's the same thing with for Annabelle over there. If she shows a little bit more from the baseline, and now you guys get to watch it, just imagine what happens. If all of a sudden Mora now has to roll up to the elbow, there's no wide open look over there, right? And the more and more opportunities you get with that shot, the more and more opportunities you're going to put them in. It'll become easier and easier. So you always want to have a little bit of pressure. So right here, if Belle was actually pressuring from the baseline when this ball comes over there, defensive wise, we probably do a little bit better right there. We're really out of position, and that's a good shot for them. We did 5 great things in that play and 1 bad one at the end, and that's how easy things can go bad for you. Now we're going to show you a bad teacup. This is really important for a lot of you players that are out there to understand. Just because I'm in these positions and because it looks good doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Right now, look at that. Oh, our teacup looks great, but not so great now, does it? Now it is broken down and we look like a sieve. That's a wide open shot. That's just not good D cup for us. So I think we got a little pause there. Will the video go? Okay, there it goes. So the play is about to start over and you guys will get to watch it again. Now, most people think that this is where the teacup breaks down, right here. This is not necessarily true. That's a long distance for Rose to go over there to watch Lizzie's back. She's super far over there at a 45-degree angle, about 12 feet away from her. Now, why did that not become good? Let's go ahead and back this up and look at it again. Right here, it looks great. All of our girls have their wheels over the 3-point line. They look like they're all talking to each other. All their heads are the right way. Rose right now telling Darlene she has her back and they're good to go that way. But what's about to happen? Oh, no. Now the thing changed. And look, 6 feet difference. Belle's done a great job. She has her class 1 stop super high up. Kate's about to run into a wall. But look at the other side. Abby didn't stop her class 1. She rolled with them. I wish we could back that up for you. I would hope that we can't pause this for some reason, which really sucks. But we'll watch it in full speed right here again, too. This is why you want to stop your ends. If you don't stop these ends and look at Abby's end, she didn't stop it. Now she's at the baseline in a corner and can't come and help her class 1. And Kate just rolled in for a wide open post if that ball got swung to her. She had a good shot. Rosalie had a good shot. And Juice all would have had a good shot. Because our defense didn't stop those little corners. Make sure you're coming up and you're fighting for that 3-point line on your teacup, and it makes it easier for the person in the middle to help you. If you're too far away, they can't help you. The other rule that we want to make sure is in our half-court defense, we don't want to give up the baseline to anybody, right? Unless you're really, really chasing a class 1 hard from the back. But here's Darlene Hunter. A class 1 comes in from a nice 45-degree angle, gets a wide open layup. Why'd she get that wide open layup? You go slow it down again, and you watch what happens on this little baseline right here. You got to trust your middle to come over and give you that triple switch. Here comes Lydia from the middle. She's ready to come over and cut Rose off, but so does Mora. So 2 people cut Rose off, and they give open a wide open layup to the class 1. Remember, never leave that baseline. Scream your head off for your help from the middle, whatever you have to do. But leaving that baseline is going to give up 2 points, and it might even give up an and 1. Who knows what it's going to be, right? But either way, you want tough contested shots, and shots like that will be too easy, okay? If you could go ahead and maybe pause that right here or stop the screen share, if I could. I don't know how to stop it and just come back to myself. We want to stop this. Do I just close it? Can you come back to me, Madison, or? All right, I think that's back to me now, right? I don't know if you guys can see me or not. I'm not over here. Madison's not coming back to me. Madison, you need to come back to me. So at this point, we'll go ahead and I don't know if any of you guys have any questions or you're able to get them through. I know it's kind of difficult, but before we start going and talking about offense, like I said, you guys can either send me an email. You can find me on Facebook. You can find Doug. If there's any questions with any of these films, a lot of them will be shared. And afterwards, you guys will be able to go back and anything you have, just reach out to us, right? This is our first Roadshow Camp too. And obviously you can see that we're not as smooth as we'd like to be, but we're getting there. So in just a second, we're going to go ahead and queue up some offense now. We always kind of start with defense. It's the most important part of the game. If you think you're going to come in here and just be all about offense, you're a little crazy. You can win a game 1-0, right? So it's all about that defense. Defense wins championships. Offense gets the glory, which is kind of nice, but still, we're going to focus on defense all the time. So let me go ahead and take one little second right here. I'm not seeing any questions pop up or just having trouble getting them through. Let me get to the defensive side here. And we'll be good to go here in just one sec. That is Lizzie. Anybody want to ask a question? Doug, you want to ask a question? I know you got questions. All right, so cool. So I will share this now. And we will get ready to go on some offense. Oh, did I hear someone come in? Was that you, Doug?
Yeah. Hey, so I have a question. On your teacup, how do you talk about helping and recovering when they're coming in with speed?
That's probably one of the most important things is really to identify while you're in that teacup where the height is and where the speed is and where your weakest threat is. So it lets you know who you got to help right away. And the biggest part about that is if you're the class 1 and you're looking at Rosalie from Canada coming down Alabama and she's hustling at you with some speed, well, you better start calling out. You have some speed coming at you. And as soon as you say that, your teammates hear that and they know they can help you. The worst part, and we talk about communication all the time and we don't get to do it on this film because it's just us kind of sitting here, right? But when you talk about communication, those are those little things. Telling someone, hey, I think I'm screwed. You know, as soon as you say that, someone can now help you. If you sit there the whole time, just terrified, shaking, and not saying a word, then you're probably going to get beat and no one's going to help you. But as long as you use your communication and your words, then you can do awesome things. If you sit there with your mouth closed, it won't be the same. It'll be really, really tough. So say whatever you're thinking. If it's completely wrong, say it. Like, hey, I see this person come down. Oh, they went the other way. That's fine. You saw them coming. Someone heard you. They turned and they reacted to you. I can react to anything that you say to me, but if you don't say anything to me, then I have no reaction. And then no reaction equals indecision, and indecision equals no decision, and you just get burned all over the place, right? So you always want to make sure that you're communicating whatever you see, whether it's height, speed, weak threat, strong threat, whatever it is, just say it and say it loud and let your teammates know that. All right? I think that's really, really big. I like to see that you changed your background, Doug. It's a little blurry back there. It looks a lot better.
I tried to go with the beach scene, but I didn't think that would be very realistic.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
Oh, yeah, looking good. Working on that tan. Okay, Madison, I'm going to go ahead and share now with you the offense. Oh, yep, it looks like it's on up there. And we're going to go ahead and start. I don't know how quick this film will go on me. For some reason, I'm not able to pause, which is super weird right now. But, hey, technology. So we're going to work with it, and we're going to move on. Now we're going to get into some half-court offense and some little bit of film breakdown. A lot of stuff that you guys heard yesterday by Juan is also incorporated in this. It's really big to start with some building blocks and keep adding stuff onto it and keep it the same thing. Consistency is a huge thing, all right? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to play this video, and we're going to get it rolling. So I think it's on me to play. I guess you guys saw a little play button. Hopefully that worked. Maybe it's just the delay I have on my end that gives it a little bit of time. One of the biggest things is identifying your role. Who are you on the basketball court? It's a little weird. Everybody thinks, I watch all these polls on Facebook. I'm Michael Jordan. I'm this guy. Look, be real about yourself. Know who you really are. Are you a sealer and a picker? Do you like to hit some chairs, right? Is that your thing? That's normally a class 1's role. They love to get out there and be a little physical with their chairs, set seals. That's where they get their glory and they get their assist from. It helps them tremendously build up everything that they're doing out there on the court. They work so hard. You see Darlene Hunter right there, constantly picking, but at the very end, able to also go ahead and finish that shot. Again, you're going to see her right here setting another pick. This is her role all the time. Every game, probably about out of 40 minutes a game, 39 minutes is this, right? 1 minute is shooting. So understand that your roles that are out there, if you're supposed to put your head down and work the whole time. Look at little Lizzie over here working her butt off for Belle to get her in. She spends the whole time just trying to get her big in and not really worrying about her basket, but worrying about that. The other little thing, are you a big? Are you the person that's getting sealed for right now? Lizzie, Darlene worked their butts off, but who are they working them off for? They're working it off for that big girl coming in behind them to score the baskets, right? The big girl scores, they score. Same thing. Are you a shooter? Are you out behind the screen that can hit any shot? Abby Duncan, unbelievable shooter. She can pretty much turn any play into a positive for us. Are you a point guard? Do you have the hands and the chair control? Rosalie from Alabama, awesome point guard. Great chair control, great hands, great passing. All around a good player. So you're going to want to identify those roles, and then you're going to want to put them into a little bit of balance on the basketball court. And that's the other little thing that we're going to go ahead and talk about out here. We're not going to teach you a double screen and some of that other stuff. We're going to teach you the real simple basic, a 2-1-2. Basically, two people behind screens working pick and roll, and you can see it right here. It's the same play that we had a little bit earlier. We'll break this play down a lot because there's so much that you guys can see between plays. It's not, you don't just see one thing. There's like 10 to 20 things on every single play. So make sure you're paying attention to them, right? See that play? Everything's balanced. 2-1-2 leads to a perfect opportunity for a layup, right? So you always want to make sure that you're getting balanced and you're never four people on one side, because all of a sudden you're not going to go anywhere. It's going to be your road cones. Right? Can't get anywhere through those roadblocks. So same thing. You'll see both of our little class ones. They're still working super, super hard trying to get their bigs in. That's their role the whole time. And look at that shot clock. Working it all the way down. The shot clock was at 7 when that shot went, by the way. You'll get to see it here too. So the shot clock went at 7. That's 23 seconds. Our class ones are working. So if you find yourself sitting on the court and you're not working for somebody, you might want to start setting some picks and set some seals, because that's what your teammates really, really need. There needs to be constant movement. When you get to the college level, you're never going to see these teams stop. They will not stop moving. It is constant jumps, constant seals, constant picking, just all constant moving. You never get to see someone just chill. All right. This should be a little bit more example of making sure that we're spread. Again, a 2-1-2 leads to a nice offside seal for Lizzie. I think we were still on that. I didn't see if the slide changed on us yet or not, but you guys will see it again. Lizzie with the little low seal. Maybe we're on the seals right now. Oh, yeah. Yep, we're on the seals. And now you're going to see one from Darlene Hunter as well. So you have your high and your low seals. You just saw your low seal from Lizzie, which is there enough room to get to the baseline? And now you're going to see a high seal. Is there enough room to get over that elbow, not to get through the middle, but to get right through that elbow, right where Darlene Hunter just went? And here comes Rose Holloman right behind her for the layup. So you're going to want to be able to attack low and attack high. Now, one of the biggest parts about this, and we're going to talk about it right after this video, is going to be this spacing. You guys see this little gap between these two right here, right? You see that spacing, then watch Darlene. Fakes baseline, then comes back. Gets her just to move just a little bit, and that starts this whole little song and dance with getting Rose to the basket right there, right? So nice little inbound seal is coming up next. So you had a high seal, low seal, and now you guys have an inbound seal as well. Giving you a little bit of time just so you guys can see this actually get set up. We want to make sure that we have our balance. Belle realizes the balance isn't right, kind of goes over there and gives it to her. Gives her the balance, gives her the nice little dive. And then you see Sarah Maynard go over and try to get Rose, and Darlene sets the seal. Now, the reason Darlene's able to get this inbound seal is because there's a huge gap of space over here you guys are about to see. As soon as Sarah goes there, look at that space, right? Enough for almost 2 chairs to get through. With that much space, Darlene knows she can go over there and set a pick. You'll see a little bit later in some of the other film that space gets cut off and she has to make a different kind of decision. But if that space is there and you can go through and set that seal, oh, you set that pick every single time, and your big comes around, basically just dunks the ball for you. All right. So we brought up spacing. Spacing is a very big thing. I tell everybody, if you find yourself just running into a chair over and over and over again, think about breathing. Right here, look at that space. Breathing, just take a deep breath and your chest expands, right? You fill up all your lungs. Then when you blow it out, you come right back to attacking again. So on these clips, you're going to see a lot of little breathing right here, right? We're going to start this clip over, and you're going to see Rose coming down here with Darlene. You're going to see that space. This is a huge breath right now. They sucked in all their air, and now they're blowing it out. And now they're about to start attacking again and go right back to working. So anytime you find yourself against a brick wall and you can't get anywhere, back up and give yourself a little bit of space and start over. It is okay to start over and to give yourself that space. It's not okay just to sit there and just keep running into a chair and not know what's going on. Try to give yourself that space. You're going to see it here again between Darlene and Rose. They make sure before they even start that they're spacing out. They don't want to be jumbled up next to each other. They want to be free to move, to keep those chairs moving. The same thing, Darlene gave that little fake baseline right over to a nice high seal right down the middle. Awesome little seal right there. And one. So we'll let you guys go ahead and watch that again. Like we say, most of the time, people watch ball side. Don't watch ball side. When you watch game film, watch the other side. Watch the stuff that doesn't incorporate the ball. Watch what the other people are doing. That's where 90% of the good stuff on your film comes from, right? Pay attention to that offside, right? We don't need to sit there and watch Bell hold the ball. What we need to be watching is that seal. Now, along with seals in your half-court offense is the cross pick, the next biggest thing. Nice little cross pick from Darlene Hunter right there. Leads to a wide open basket. So let's go back and watch it again. Watch Darlene come from a nice 45-degree angle right where that C is on the court. Perfect spacing, right? She could go left or she could go right instead of pick for either one of them. A defender can only stop you going from one direction. If you know that, you can be super successful with setting these cross picks, right? Now we'll go into a little bit of the pick and roll. This is kind of the same thing. You see the breath? They breathe. They got some space. Now they drive, a layup. Now, remember when we were talking about triple switch before, about the player being too high up? Watch where that defender is in the middle. See how far away they are on Morgan? They cannot get to Nina to stop her on that roll. When you're triple switching and you're working that teacup, be a little bit closer. Unless those people have put in a couple of threes on you, don't worry so much about it. Be underneath that free throw line. You can help people a lot more there. And then class one still working gets a little dumped down. Be ready for those class ones. Right here, you're going to see that there is no triple switch, right? They're not worried about that class one rolling through. And a lot of class ones, you're going to get these opportunities because they won't bring help to you every single time. So make sure you're ready to give yourself a really good chance at your layup, okay? But you will get those opportunities. Don't think that just because you're picking the whole time, you're not going to get it. You're going to get it. The next big part to throw into your offense is ball movement. The ball moves faster than you. Not only that, but watch every time that ball gets moved, watch the heads. Heads move. Heads move, chairs move. You can move the defenders just by moving that ball around. These girls honestly barely move their chairs this offensive possession. And you can watch it. They're almost in pretty much the same areas they are. Look, Morgan plays in the same little 2-foot area she's playing in. Darlene plays in her same little 2-foot area. Rose is playing in her little 2-foot area. But just by the ball movement, just that pass right there, layup, right? So you want to move the ball pretty much as possible while you're out there. More ball movement leads to more hands turning, leads to unbelievable opportunities for yourself. Now, what am I supposed to do when I'm behind this screen? This is the big question for a lot of people. I watch a lot of people either sit there completely still and let a chair jump them and hit them, or they give too much distance. We're going to watch some good ones and some bad ones. Here's a good one, not enough distance, right? She couldn't get through there. They had less than a chair space between them. Now she throws it back. Ooh, way too much room. Now she can get out there and play great defense on her. So we're going to go back. We're going to watch that play again. And you guys are going to see it get broken down again. You're going to see first, Rose has a great behind the screen. They just do a great triple switch over there. Awesome defense by Alabama. Then you're going to see the ball get swung back over to the other side. Abby, great chair position, not enough room for a chair to get through. And when it comes back to Rose, though, you're going to see that she wasn't ready. Too much distance right here, not ready, right? Can't do anything with this. The defender's already there. So you want to make sure that you leave less than a chair length there. So no one can fit through there. At the end, they can only run into the side of you, and you can still drive baseline or high, but your play doesn't get completely wiped out, right? If you watch Rose right here, the second time she gets the ball, her play is completely wiped out because now she can't put it on the floor and do anything. The defender's already hit her while she's catching it. You want to be able to be a little bit more smoother in that like you are right there. Now that's a great play. We can work off of that. And that's a great defense by Alabama. But that one right there slows everything down. The good part is we keep working. They never really commit to the triple switch. So Abby just keeps working with their little class one and boom, wide open layup. So make sure you're always working while you guys are out there. This is another one, a little bit about the spacing and just a little bit of ball movement to a seal, right? This is all of it tied in together. So all that is just off of a pass, and Mick is able to go and get just a little seal because Hetch just turned just a little bit. Watch. You see her again. She's just kind of sitting there. Rose's dive, kind of sitting between players. But as soon as that ball goes and they look at that ball, she's able to go ahead and make her move and seal for Rose. Awesome little seal just off of ball movement. People will follow the ball. Even for a split second, you can't help it but let your eyes follow it. This is another one on ball movement. Even when you mess it up sometimes and you have bad passes, right? Not a smooth pass, but still got over there with a fourth pass, fifth pass, and do a layup. So all those things that we were teaching in the beginning, your pick and roll, your breathing, it all plays into a huge part. But unless you move the ball, none of it really matters. So make sure that you're moving the ball into your offense and that you're not one of those players that just wants to hold it. Get the ball moving. Trust me, it'll come back to you. If you want to be the one to shoot the ball, get rid of it first. Let all the defense go towards the ball and then wait for it to come back and you'll probably be wide open. Let's see, I think we have a couple more little clips here. Get to play for you in full speed. This is a great one because you guys get to see the cross pick incorporated in it. Cross pick with the pass and basically a little pick and roll. So you're going to see a two-person cross pick this time, right? First time we showed you just Darlene showing a cross pick. Now you're going to see Mitcomb and Clark. There's one, there's the second one, and now Rose is behind the screen with 2 jumps, easy pick and roll. Nice little dump down. So that's why you incorporate all those little things, right? You have to have your high and your low seals. You have to have your ball movement. You have to have a bunch of those things. I don't want the film to go a little too fast on me. But if you can't seal, and this is when we were talking to Darlene earlier, what if there's not that gap on the baseline to get through? What if they take it away from you? Well, this is what you do. Not enough room? Okay. Now you go to the basket. So understanding your role right here. You guys have seen Class 1s working their butt off all film, right? I've just talked about a Class 1 sealing. Talked about the importance of their picking. Well, you also have to be able to hit this layup. But you also know when to, right? Once there's no room for me to seal, now I need to know that I need to go to the basket. So it's awesome by Darlene right there going to the basket and realizing that she can't go anywhere else. So let's see a few of attacks with a little bit more, hopefully some speed. I won't break them down for you guys as much and just let you guys see if you can kind of notice some of the little nuances that's going on, right? This is already our second pass, third pass. We're already on a third pass as we come into our offense, our fourth pass, fifth pass. Fifth pass minimum to a wide open layup, right? So in this play, 5 passes just to start, and there's 2 cross picks and into a seal. So they incorporate all of this, right? Rose and Bell breathed together right there, got a little bit of space. She went around 2 picks, right into a seal, right into a layup. Just because she kept moving too and not stopping and not settling. That was a pretty awesome play to watch from them. This is another one's pretty similar. Right? Trying to work for their little cross pick. So when we see this play again, they go try to do a 2-man, triple switch comes over and denies them. But once they has to go away, Rose is able just to sneak on in. So it's a song and dance. Not every play will ever be perfect. You will never get every play to be exactly the same. You're going to have to ad lib. These 2 right here, they had to ad lib. Dang, I couldn't follow the seal. I got rid of the ball. Well, heck, I still had a lane. I'll take it. Right? But they first went and tried to pick and roll together. They tried to get in. They tried to play as a team. And that's kind of one of the biggest things to tell you guys. And Madison, you can go ahead and just send this back to me now if you want. Or maybe I could just exit it. If I exit it, would that do it for you guys? Yeah. So one of the biggest things, you want to be able to take all of that stuff and kind of put it together. Make a little bit of it your own. If you want to be super effective offensively, don't just be a picker. Don't just be a sealer. Don't just be a shooter. Don't just be a passer. Don't just be a point guard. Be a little bit of all of it. Know what your strength is and then know what your weakness is. Maximize your strength and work your butts off on your weaknesses. Make yourself a dual threat and you will be able to play so many more positions on the court. The game will open up tremendously for you. So you got to be able to do a few of those things. So we'll open it up to a little bit more questions. Like we said, questions couldn't get really through right now. But if you guys want to go ahead and email some questions, more than welcome. I'll always get back to you guys. And Doug, if you had some more questions, I can go ahead and talk to you. And you guys can't see my cool little Mountain Dew bottle that's floating around right here. So if this is weird by now, trust me, I'm drinking a Mountain Dew bottle. Nothing. Come on, Doug, ask me something. All right, but we're just chilling.
What do you do? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What do you do when you have an offensive plan? What do you do to teach your team how to react if something goes wrong within the flow of the game?
If something goes wrong, this right here.
Yeah.
You need to be able to brush it off your shoulder and move on to the next play and not care. You need to learn, for sure, you need to learn and say, oh, well, what did I do wrong on that play? But you can't emotionally get attached to that play. So I would say that's one of the biggest things is if something's not working, okay, well, let's talk. Let's let's get to the root of the problem and let's approach it that way. But don't let players become too emotional. We have a thing on our team, like, you ride those emotions up. If you're hitting baskets and things are going great, yeah, ride it, use all that. But once there's a play that goes down, don't go down with it. Be smarter, figure out what happened in that play, adjust to it and move on, but don't let it sit there on your shoulder eating you up the whole time. You see players all the time will miss a layup, will miss a free throw, will miss just a shot or a pass. Oh, man, just go nuts, and they get so mad. So, let's let that one go. Trust me, you'll get the next one. Just always having that positive with you and understanding that it's a marathon and not a sprint. Everybody thinks that, oh, I'm going out there and playing a game. Think of it as a marathon. It's 40 minutes. It's not one play. There's 80. There's 106. There's so many more plays that are out there, and every little second is an opportunity to basically get back what you just messed up. So keep working hard and play for the marathon and not for just the sprint.
And in practice, can you give us like a breakdown of your priorities for practice, for planning a practice?
It really is basically going to go on what the team is needing at that time. At the beginning of the season, you're going to be doing some little X's and O's and some conditioning. But as your season keeps winding down, you're going to know what some of your strengths and your weaknesses are. And you're really, really going to want to focus on your weaknesses. Your strengths are out there, cool. You probably don't need to focus on them that much. You know what they are. But it's your weaknesses are what's going to cost you a game. It's not your strengths. It's that little part that you can't do well, right? So figure out what those things are and make sure that you're working 75%, 50. I'd say 75%, doing way more than you need to maximize those things so that they don't hurt you when you actually get into a game, right? Focus on what your weaknesses are and not your strengths, and you'll have really, really good practices.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks for letting me jump in. Like I said, guys and girls, and anyone that's out there that has any questions, beginning of my section, there is my email address. You can hit me up there. You can contact me on Facebook, whatever you guys need to do to get some answers and just ask some questions. Everybody has different questions about different styles and stuff like that. And we don't get that interaction here with the face-to-face camp. And while we're going through our first virtual camp and figuring out some of the nuances of getting you guys able to communicate with us, feel free to reach out to myself or Doug and drop us a line. We'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. So awesome. Thanks for having me, and look forward to being back here later on in the week.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Madison.
Okay. Wow, great information from Coach Nelms. I love hearing him talk and seeing him break down things. So I'm sure you guys all enjoyed that too. One question I got about 5 or 6 years ago was, how do you teach decision making? And you notice some of the things that Coach talked about, Juan talked about yesterday, I refer to it a lot, is decision making and teaching the athletes to stay focused. So we're going to go over a little drill here to talk about decision making. And on this one, we're going to go to the magnet board. So Jimmy's here with me. All right, so this is a drill we call Monster. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 lines. And yes, I know this is a soccer board, but you work with what you got. So I'm going to go with this. Okay, and the black dot here is the coach. So what that coach is going to do is they're going to throw the ball out, and the first 2 players are going to go for the ball. So A, we're talking about reaction time when the ball comes out, and B, what they should be thinking. So even before the coach throws the ball out, this player and this player, they're thinking, okay, that's my friend Eddie, and I'm quicker than Eddie, so depending on where the coach throws the ball, I can probably beat Eddie to the ball. What am I going to do next? Eddie's thinking, oh, he's probably quicker than me. If I see there's no way I can get to the ball, I'm going to get out there on defense quicker and try to stop him before he uses his speed to attack the basket. If I can't do that, then I'm going to play him and force him to his weak side for a layup. So we've already got the mental discussions going on about what I can do, what he can do, and how I think this is going to play out. Coach throws the ball out. Maybe they throw it to Eddie's side so he gets the ball. Okay, he's got to have a backup plan. Oh, I've got space that I'm going to simulate a half court, and what decisions are being made. I know he's smaller, so maybe I can get him right here and get that post up set up. So those are the decisions that they have to make. So that's a one-on-one monster. Now we're going to go back. We're going to set up. Okay. Now we're set up here for a 2-on-2 monster. And so basically we have one light jersey, one dark jersey right here. They're going to battle for the ball. Everybody's thinking, where am I on the floor? Who do I think is going to get the ball? What do I think my partner's going to do if it's on the other side of the floor? And they've already sized this up. We hadn't even thrown the ball out yet. So the thinking part of the game comes the whole time. It's sequential. They're already thinking that. They're waiting on this, kind of knowing, depending on where the ball is, and that's your orient part of your, is orienting what you think is going to happen. So the ball comes out. And let's say this player here, he knew the ball goes over there. I'm going to get him the ball because I'm going to be back picking, because, oh, look at this. I've got the inside track here. So the ball goes over here. I'm just going to back pick this and go for a layup. Drill's not over. Drill's not over. This guy's got to decide right here, am I going to go to the layup and play defense? Am I going to, I've got to play two. This guy's thinking, oh, he's playing two. I'm going to come. Basically, math. Who do I think has the best shot of making the shot? The best chance, the best odds, is a better shooter? Then that's our number one stop. So within the flow of the game here, he's like, oh, dang, I got picked out. I've got to decide now who's the best shooter and who do we want is going to be our priority. So maybe he sees what's happening and this guy's trying to backpick him and overplay this. He's going to spin and go to the basket. So that's the thinking we want from our players as we add more variables. So more players, more time, more space. How are we going to respond to where the ball goes? Next would be 4-on-4. Need a red one. Need a red guy here. Okay, so now we got two reds, two yellows. So we got 4-on-4. They're coming all from different directions. And as a coach, you might even use this as a way to see how different players react or respond to a game situation. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 2-on-2, using the OODA loop, trying to orient. Okay, I know my teammates over here, red guy. I know he's not one of our fastest players, so he's probably not going to get the ball. So I need to decide if I'm going to get the ball or if one of the yellow players is going to get the ball. And then it's all the decision-making loop of who gets it, where are they, what direction is their chair facing, what are the speed mismatches, what are the height mismatches. and what are the shooting mismatches. And those are the decision-making factors. And all this is happening as fast as you can. So some of that they're going to know ahead of time. Hopefully, they're already sitting there looking. Okay, coach is there. He's got the ball. This is what we got. This is what my team's going to have. This is what the other team's going to have. And then I'm going to make my decisions. And all this is, the faster it happens, the better odds that you're going to be successful. So the ball comes out. Let's say red guy gets the ball over here. Now we got a one-on-one over here, and we're looking for maybe like an ISO play. If it's not the ISO we want, maybe we're looking for the pick. Okay? So we're trying to get our decision making as fast as we can, offensively and defensively. Are we going to play that gap? Are we going to pressure this pass because this is maybe a small and we can prevent this pass from happening because I know his partner has my partner picked out. Now we go to the decision making on a 2-on-1 and where we're going to go. Okay, so it's all about thinking ahead of time. And if you don't intentionally remind your players of that, they're going to be sitting down here saying, hey, where are you going for dinner tonight? Oh, hey, did you do your math homework? You know, they're not into the drill because they're not up yet. So you have to remind them sometimes, hey, be ready when you get up, because as soon as I get the ball, it's going out, and you need to know what you're going to do as soon as the ball goes out. So it's kind of up to you as a coach to get that ball and put it out there to encourage them to do their thinking before the actually ball hits the floor. So especially they can communicate a little bit. Maybe push them out further. They can't verbally communicate much at all now. So now it's all the mental game of making their plans and adjusting to what happens next. Now, a fun one. I lost my little red man. Thank you, Jimmy. That would be another drill that requires a lot of metacognitive discourse, them thinking about thinking. Okay, we're lined up on the side and we're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna put another little red man out. Maybe you got, whoops, got to keep our spacing here. So maybe you got 6. Don't forget spacing. We're gonna put our 6-man. Okay, now we're lined up on the sides. You're the coach. You're still the dot on the end line here. And you're gonna call 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 from yellow go out. 1 and 2 from red go out. And yellow shooting down here. And red is shooting down here. Terrible writing, but got some glare on the court. So we got red shooting down here. So wherever the ball goes, maybe the coach throws the ball right here. So red's now going to play 2-on-2. If red scores 2-on-2, that's a point red. They've got 20 seconds to score. All right, so we got a point red. They scored 2-on-2. They're coming back in. While they're coming back in, coach is calling. Number 4. Then only number 4 is coming out, and they'll play 1-on-1. So now hopefully what they're doing after they have their teams and they're spaced out on the sides, hopefully what they're doing is looking at the number matchups. Oh, I'm number 4. Jimmy's number 4. This is how I know that matchup's going to go. If they call 1 and 6, I know before the ball goes how that matchup is going to go. Now the only variable I'm talking about is it says move mouse too. Okay. Is where's the ball going to go on the floor? That's the number one variable that I'm thinking in my head. Where's the ball going to go? Because I already know what's going to happen if it comes closer to me, if it comes closer to Jimmy, if it comes closer to Fabian, or if it comes closer to Bryce, how that's going to lay out. And I've already pre-planned that whole sequence of events in my head. Now, does it always go that way? No, it doesn't always go that way. But I'm going to have backup plans as well. Now, once it gets out here, we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's a matter of what? What would be the main factor deciding on how things go right now? Communication. Now it's on communication. If the plan doesn't go as expected, then it's on communication. Hey, I've got Bryce. I've got Corey. I've got AJ. Watch Fabian. And we're talking about identifying threats and identifying action based on what we know about the other team. So there's a couple things you can do as coach on this. You can have more spacing on the side. You can throw the ball to different parts of the floor. Maybe you're going to throw the ball where a slower player is. You can throw the ball and bounce it really high. So now everybody's still making decisions as the ball goes up and comes back down. But we're trying to get decision making going on and practice. Are there going to be mistakes? Yes, like we talked about. Mistakes, if you're not making mistakes, you're not getting better. So they go back to the side. Hey, what happened there? Yeah, I should have gone to Bryce, but instead I went to AJ and I didn't say anything. And now they're talking about, okay, what happened? Okay. So you as a coach, all right, you know they're talking about what happened. Get the ball out, get it out quicker. Okay. And make them get back into action, just like a game. Shot goes in, okay. You don't really have time to talk about, hey, what happened on defense? How did he get through over there? Why did you jump? We don't want to have those conversations when we're coming down the floor on an offensive possession. We'll save those conversations for later. So you want to make it all about focus. You want to make it all about what's going to happen next. You want to vary the speed. You want to vary the spacing. You want to vary who the ball goes to. And then got somebody on the clock doing 20 seconds as soon as somebody grabs the ball. So great decision-making drill that we'll use frequently just to get the guys communicating and thinking. All right, if you have questions, Moving Mavs at uta.edu is our Moving Mavs email. You can also email me at dgarner@uta.edu. But remember, what we're talking about is training for sequential thinking, or what's next, and training for that metacognitive thinking of what am I doing, what's Jimmy doing, what's Bryce doing, what do I think they're going to do if I attack baseline, what do I think they're going to do if we set up a double screen. And all that takes time. It takes time, it takes learning, and it takes communication. So, any questions on teaching decision making? And we have other drills too that we'll talk about this week. No questions? Can I do what? Okay. Okay, you should have a place on your screen where you can click on the chat button. Okay.